Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we unpack the critical insights from the sources you've shared with us. Today, we're diving into your research on a word that typically makes us brace ourselves: stress. When you hear that word, what's the first thing that springs to mind? For most of us, it's probably that gnawing anxiety, right? The frantic deadlines, maybe, or just sheer exhaustion. It's almost universally cast as the villain in our daily lives, isn't it? But what if your sources hinted at something, well, truly surprising? What if not all stress is detrimental? What if there's a type of stress that can actually be a powerful catalyst for growth, for motivation, maybe even enhanced performance? Okay, let's unpack this, because the implications from which your materials suggest could be genuinely transformative. This often overlooked beneficial stress is known as positive stress, or Eustress. Our mission in this deep dive is to distill exactly what Eustress is, how it influences your brain and body, and most importantly, equip you with practical strategies gleaned from your materials, strategies to leverage it for, incredible personal and professional growth.
Yeah, and what's particularly illuminating here is the fundamental reframe we can actually make about something so common, something we instinctively, try to avoid. Our perception really does dictate our experience of stress. Understanding this distinction, it really sets the stage for a complete paradigm shift in how we approach daily pressures.
That's such a crucial starting point. I mean, we all know stress. It's that constant hum in the background of modern life, isn't it? Woven into everything from work deadlines to family obligations. It feels unavoidable. But when we focus on eustress, we're talking about something very specific. A beneficial type of stress. This is stress that arises in response to challenges or demands that you perceive as being kind of within your coping capacity. Think about that for a second. It's a physiological response, that quick impulse, that surge of hormones. But crucially, it happens in the absence of fear or threat. It's more like a rush, a feeling of heightened readiness, definitely not dread.
And that distinction, that feeling of, okay, I can handle this is, it's everything. What I find so compelling in the sources is how clearly they show this isn't just like a semantic game, it's a tangible shift in how your body physically responds.
Exactly. Because unlike negative stress or distress, the kind that's prolonged, overwhelming, physically and emotionally draining, the kind that leads to anxiety, mental fatigue, poor concentration, maybe even health risks, eustress operates with a different playbook entirely. Think of eustress as maybe your brain's performance enhancer, a brief, intense surge that sharpens your focus, ignites confidence, and delivers that profound sense of, yes, I did it, all without that lingering dread. So typically it's short-term. It increases your alertness, inspires motivation, enhances overall performance, and leaves you with a real sense of accomplishment. Can you recall a time you felt that productive buzz right before a big challenge and then totally nailed it? That's eustress in action right there.
Absolutely. That within coping capacity aspect is truly what separates eustress from distress. It really boils down to how we appraise the situation. Is this something I can manage even if it pushes me? Or is it, an insurmountable obstacle? And if we zoom out a bit, it underscores that the goal isn't to avoid stress entirely. I mean, that's impossible anyway. Instead, it's about understanding the quality and the source of the stress we encounter. And then, crucially, learning how to cultivate the beneficial kind.
Right. Now, this is where the science truly gets captivating. What's actually happening inside your brain and body when you experience positive stress. When you encounter a challenge, your brain doesn't just sit there passively. It initiates a physiological response, releasing those powerful neurochemicals we often hear about, specifically catecholamines. Think of them as your body's natural performance-boosting messengers, things like adrenaline and dopamine. And these aren't just for emergencies, like running from a bear or something. In moderate, controlled doses, they actually heighten your sensory awareness. They sharpen your cognitive focus, and they temporarily boost both your physical and mental performance. It's part of your body's natural fight-or-flight mechanism, sure, but instead of fleeing from a perceived danger, you're channeling that energy into tackling a perceived challenge. It's like your internal supercharger, giving you that extra edge right when you need it. But okay, beyond just that initial surge, what are these neurochemicals actually doing? What are the maybe lasting benefits, particularly for our mind?
That's a fantastic question because it's not just some momentary boost that fades away. Your sources highlight that this release actually enhances memory consolidation. So you're better able to lock in new information, which is huge. It improves overall cognitive function and stimulates intrinsic motivation and creative problem solving. Makes you more adaptable, more innovative. And over time, this exposure actually helps build psychological resilience and adaptive coping skills. It's essentially training your brain to handle future challenges more effectively. Which brings us to a really important concept in psychology, the Yerkes-Dodson law. This was first introduced by Robert Yerkes and John Dodson way back in 1908. Their research showed that moderate levels of arousal or stress are associated with optimal performance. This is particularly true for tasks needing focus, endurance, or precision. Think of it like a bell curve, Too little stress and you're bored, maybe disengaged, performance suffers. Too much stress and you become overwhelmed, anxious, and again, your performance drops off. That sweet spot right in the middle, that moderate level, that's your optimal performance threshold. So a key question then becomes, how do we identify and, maybe more importantly, maintain that optimal level for ourselves?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And thankfully, we see examples of this sweet spot, well, everywhere in the daily life, especially in situations that involve personal challenge, anticipation, or growth. Take starting a new job, for instance. That temporary pressure you feel the need to learn quickly. Prove yourself. Adapt. When you appraise it positively, it actually enhances your focus and accelerates your learning curve. Some research actually emphasizes this, noting that goal-oriented stress can be a powerful motivator, supporting adaptive functioning, especially in new settings. Or think about competitive sports. Athletes often experience that heightened arousal, those pre-game jitters, right? This isn't usually negative anxiety, though. It's a form of eustress that sharpens their attention and readiness and ultimately can improve their outcomes. Some research observed how positively interpreted competitive anxiety actually contributes to increased performance and, importantly, mental resilience. It kind of reminds me of, say, learning a new language. It's challenging, sometimes frustrating, for sure. But that moment when you finally connect a full sentence and understand. That's pure eustress. These examples really underscore that when stress is perceived as a challenge rather than a threat, it genuinely enhances cognitive performance. It fosters resilience and supports meaningful personal development. Okay, so we get what eustress is and, broadly, how it works. But the big question now is, how do you intentionally shape your perception? How do you manage pressure to transform potential distress into this motivating force? How do you cultivate more positive stress in your life, drawing from the strategies outlined in your materials? First, and this is perhaps the most important piece, you need to actively reframe your mindset. Instead of automatically seeing stress as an inherent threat, like a signal that something is wrong, try to begin viewing it as a natural response, a response to situations that genuinely matter to you. See it as a catalyst for performance and growth, maybe even an empowering signal that you're engaged in something meaningful. Second, set stretch goals, but not overwhelming ones. We're talking about targets that challenge your current abilities without completely exceeding your coping capacity. They're designed to keep you engaged, motivated, and resilient. For example, maybe taking on a leadership role in a new project. It might feel daunting at first, sure, but with the right preparation and mindset, it can significantly boost your confidence and skills. It's about finding that sweet spot we mentioned, just like the Yerkes-Dodson law suggests. And third, practice proactive time management. This is a big one. Time pressure is a super common source of stress, right? But it can also be one of those manageable. By implementing proactive strategies like structuring your day with focused work sessions, building an intentional break, setting clear priorities, you essentially take control of the clock rather than, letting it control you.
Yeah, absolutely. And building on that, a critical fourth strategy that comes through in your sources is to prioritize physical and nutritional health. Beyond just the mental reframing, which is crucial, your sources reveal a critical biochemical secret almost. Certain nutrients don't just calm stress, they actively build your body's resilience to it. Your nervous system is constantly working to help you adapt to demands, right? So supporting it with essential micronutrients and adaptogens, those incredible plant compounds that help your body normalize its response to stress, well, that can really help your body return to balance under pressure. For instance, ashwagandha might help reduce cortisol levels and improve mood stability. Rhodiola rosea is pretty well known for enhancing physical endurance and resisting mental fatigue. Magnesium is huge for supporting muscle relaxation and nerve function, helping calm that physiological stress response. And maybe two more worth noting. L-theanine, great for calm focus, reducing that overthinking loop, and phosphatidylserine, which can support memory, focus, and even act as a stress buffer. Now, these aren't magic pills, obviously, but they genuinely support your body's natural ability to cope. They act like internal shock absorbers. And finally, a fifth key strategy. Know and respect your threshold. This is all about self-awareness. Learning to recognize your own physiological and emotional signals, things like persistent fatigue, maybe irritability, or even increased procrastination. Recognizing those signals is absolutely essential for maintaining a healthy stress balance. So regularly check in with yourself. Be prepared to adjust your workload, your rest patterns, your commitments accordingly. What really stands out here, I think, is how these seemingly simple strategies actually empower you. They empower you to control your stress narrative, shifting from being a passive victim of circumstances to, well, an active architect of your well-being and performance.
That empowerment is key. But, and this is a crucial warning, even beneficial stress has its limits. We have to acknowledge that. If it's left unmanaged or it's sustained over really long periods, eustress can subtly shift into distress. The transition is often gradual, which is precisely why that self-awareness and those regular check-ins are so vital. It's kind of a delicate dance, isn't it? Pushing ourselves, yet staying acutely aware of that invisible line. It's almost like our bodies have their own silent language, if only we'd consistently listen. So how do you know if your positive stress has maybe crossed the line, if it's become too much? You need to be mindful of these warning signs. Things like persistent fatigue or exhaustion that just doesn't improve with rest. Maybe difficulty falling or staying asleep, even when you feel physically tired. You might notice increased irritability, mood swings, or heightened emotional sensitivity, just feeling on edge more often. Physical signs can include muscle tension, especially common in the jaw, neck, or shoulders. Also, digestive issues, headaches, or other unexplained physical discomfort. And mentally, you might experience a loss of concentration, memory lapses, or a noticeable decrease in motivation. If you're experiencing these, it's a pretty clear sign your system is operating beyond its optimal threshold. Your stress response is no longer functioning in that supportive, adaptive way.
Indeed. If you identify with one or more of those symptoms, it's a clear signal. It really is. It's time to reassess. Look at your current lifestyle, your recovery habits, your support systems, and looking at the broader implications, unacknowledged or prolonged stress can, unfortunately, lead to burnout. It can weaken immune function and contribute to serious mental health consequences down the line. So taking proactive steps to intervene early isn't just smart, it's vital for your sustained well-being. Consider exploring proven stress relief techniques. Things like breath work, grounding exercises, maybe structured journaling can be really helpful. And remember that nutritional support we just talked about, it also plays a critical role in calming the nervous system and helping restore balance.
We've definitely covered a lot today. And the core idea we've unpacked is that stress isn't this monolithic enemy we often make it out to be. It can actually be a powerful ally, a source of motivation, focus, and growth, but only when channeled correctly. So, what does this all mean for you, based on the insights from your own materials? Fundamentally, it means you have more control over your stress experience than you might have previously thought possible.
Precisely. And think about this. The very challenges that feel daunting today could very well be the catalyst for your greatest achievements tomorrow, provided, of course, you approach them with awareness and intentionality. By mastering this distinction between positive and negative stress, you're not just managing stress anymore. You're actively designing a life of greater resilience, better performance, and ultimately profound well-being. Maybe think about what challenge you might lean into now, equipped with this new perspective.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.